100 Season 2, Episode 4, Many Happy Returns. I think that's a really ironic title for this episode because the only return that was even remotely happy in this episode was when Octavia found Bellamy. Because other than that, people either got somewhere they wanted to get, like in the end of the episode, Clark made it home, and it's like, we're gonna get a really cool moment in these, the rest of the season where Anya's gonna go talk to her people, and she's gonna at least try to get them to work with everyone from the Ark, and things are really gonna change between the Grounders and I guess the Sky people, and then Anya walks away, she gets shot and killed, and then Clark gets shot in the arm. And I figured something was gonna happen. I didn't think, with Clark being the main character, I didn't expect her to get killed. I thought she was definitely gonna get shot when they were standing by the kid. I was like, they're just gonna get shot because it's dark, they're in mud. The people that are guarding the city, we already know based on what we've seen just a little bit. They're kind of like just the hardcore military. It's like shoot on sight, and that's pretty much it. If you don't see a light on their gun, they're probably an enemy, and just shoot them. And with the radio signal going up in the sky and them having this balloon that the woman considered a signal or a big target, they probably should have considered maybe it's not just automatically grounders, because that's exactly how Clark found them, was because of that balloon. And it could have been anyone. It could have been anyone at all from the Ark. And I wasn't surprised at all that someone was shot, and it's really sucked because especially the way things ended, and even though they had like a crazy episode, Anya and Clark have ended up becoming friends and like beat the crap out of each other, which was a really great fight that I was not expecting at all in this episode. I thought it was actually going to end with Clark actually going back to the base, and then she'd be there for maybe the next episode, and she'd have Anya with her, and they would do something, I don't know. But they had like a really cool fight, and Anya was like kind of messing Clark up at first, and it was something I really noticed. Like, someone's a good fighter when they just woke up from being hit with like a tranquilizer, and they just beat the crap out of you. Like, she dodged Clark when she tried to hit her with the big log. She basically got the log from her. She hit her, head butted her, and knocked her down, and then she threw the log down. Like, I don't need this. And it's like, that's when you know someone's a really great fighter, because they just got tranked and they're still beating you up, and you've been walking around the whole time. But it was a great fight. It sucked to see Anya go because she had gotten to the point where she respected Clark. And I liked Anya as a character. She was just protecting her people, just like Clark was. And in this episode, they had become friends by then. It was like, great, she's going to go to her people. I wasn't 100% sure it would work right off the bat. Like, hey, we need to help these people against the Mountain Men. But I thought it was at least a really cool plot. Like, she's going to go and talk to her people, and then sadly she gets killed off. But that was a cool part of the episode. We got to see Finn still kind of losing it. He's really on the edge right now, and I actually like that about his character because it's so different. He's normally calm, and he's like helping everybody else out, and right now he's just looking for Clark, and he's kind of just going nuts. But I like the moment they had in this one where it was Finn, Bellamy, Murphy, and then the two others who admittedly I can't remember because they don't really say their names. I think this was the first time they actually said the one guy's name, and that was after he died, which is kind of messed up. But once again, it was like he saw someone who was his friend, and I was like, oh, they kind of returned to each other in a sense. And then sadly he ends up dying, which I didn't expect. I thought he was the one in the preview when she was basically being held on to. I thought he was the one who was holding on to her, and it was actually Bellamy. And sadly, he just fell off to his death, which kind of sucked. But they got the girl. They fortunately saved her. They avoided being killed off by grounders who were just shooting spears and arrows at them, like throwing spears and shooting arrows. And fortunately, Octavia saved them. So they kind of split it up because the one girl who got hit by the arrow could possibly be poisoned, so she has to be taken back to the Ark, or I guess, Camp Jaha. And they're going to take the other girl who, for me personally, I don't know if anyone will even know who I'm referencing, but she reminded me so much of Korra from The Legend of Korra. And if you don't know who that is, you can just look her up. She didn't look anything like her, but honestly, it was just because she was wearing a blue sleeveless shirt, and she had like, I have no idea what they're called, but like the little stuff she had on her wrist, it just made me think of Legend of Korra for some reason because it was just blue, and she had like the little arm wrist. So that was in my head. So I don't know if you're a fan of Legend of Korra, if you may or may not have thought of that, but please let me know because that was like all I could think when I saw her. I was like, Legend of Korra. She's dark blue and the stuff. But I enjoyed that. It was really cool. Octavia came in and saved them, so they're gonna head back to Camp Jaha, while Finn and Murphy actually head off to wherever they're gonna end up going. Because I know that's not where Clark is. So wherever they're gonna be going, they might actually have people there. It could just be a huge waste of their time. So I'm hoping that they at least find someone to save. I know they aren't gonna, of course, find Clark because the guy was just like, he's got a gun to my head. I'll say whatever he wants to hear. And so I'm hoping he doesn't just run in and kills a bunch of grounders and then it was for nothing at all. So I'm hoping they do end up saving at least somebody random. Like it doesn't matter. Like they just go in and just something good happens, and it might even tie into what we got in the preview where I can't think of his name at all, but the guy who was initially the chancellor who gave it up to Abby, he gets captured in the preview for next week's episode. So maybe it'll tie in where he actually gets taken back to that camp, and that's who they end up saving, and it kind of just goes full circle. Like, yeah, like I guess we both kind of were leaving, and we ended up running into each other this way, and they end up saving him as well as the rest of his group, and then they just head back to the camp. But I'm excited for next week's episode. This one was it was a really good one. We got to see Jaha, which I thought was really good. We didn't get to see too much of them, but they introduced one really cool thing, which is honestly just another city, and it's like the city of light. There, he was in the dead zone, and I'm hoping based on him being captured at the end of this episode, we get to see a lot more of the cities of these people, and that's what I'm most excited for. He's going to be kind of our inside look, and unfortunately, he's going to be a prisoner because that's kind of the thing. There's bounty on Sky People, so he's going to be a prisoner for who knows how long. But we're going to get some answers. We're going to get to meet some important political figures, I have to assume, and we're just going to get to see this City of Light. I think that's where he's going. It just seemed like that's the closest thing around them, but I don't really know. Like, who knows what's around them really? But I'm excited for that because it seems really cool. It's just a new element. It's an entirely new area. He's in the desert, there in the forest, so totally different structures around. He's gonna go to places where there are like actually run down buildings. So I'm excited to see that side of the story because other than throughout the rest of the show, it's just been trees and stuff like that. And there were buildings because they are actually like in Washington. So we saw like um, the we saw like the Lincoln Monument. Um, I think 3 or 4 episodes ago, I guess. But totally different structures in the areas that he's in. So I'm excited for that. But I love the episode. The stuff with Raven was also really good. It was like the heartfelt stuff in the episode, like she kind of dealing with the fact that one of her legs doesn't work, and she meets up with one of the people she used to work with. So that was kind of cool. We get to see him come back into the series, and he finally convinces her by the end to just use the brace that he made. Unfortunately, she does, and it kind of helps her out. And of course, they end up working together because he's kind of crazy. So he's like, you know, inhaling helium and stuff. So that actually helped her get the radio signal out, which for now probably hasn't really done anything but let a couple of people see it if they actually happen to see it. But as far as the radio aspect of it goes, it probably didn't do much. And going along with, I kind of like skipped right over it because the main focus was them rescuing like Korra. With Finn, Bellamy, Murphy, and all of them finding that big portion of the arc basically just being completely destroyed and all those people dying, that was kind of messed up. It really sucked. I initially thought they were at the camp that they were headed to, or at least sort of like a weird path leading into it, and the people, the grounders just killed off a bunch of people. But that was a big chunk of the arc. It was a huge, huge piece, and there were just dead bodies everywhere, and there was a huge just crater in the ground from where it crashed. So I'm hoping we get to see more pieces of the arc that actually did survive, or at least an exploration into some of the pieces that didn't. I can't remember how many really broke off, but there were a lot of different pieces all over the place. So I feel like in the rest of this season, we're gonna get to see like half and half. Like some places they'll go like, oh, there's another piece of the arc, and it'll be like a sadder episode because they'll go in and there'll be no survivors. And then there'll be other episodes where they go in and they actually find more people who may or may not just be hiding and trying to survive because they may have run into grounders at one point, so they were kind of freaking out and scared to leave again. But I'm hoping we get some more of that and we get to see more pieces of the arc. I highly doubt they're gonna like drag these pieces across the forest, but they can definitely bring in the people. They have electrified fences now, so they're definitely building up their portion of the arc, and they had all sorts of lights on it and stuff at the end of the episode, which is once again another huge target for them. But as the guy mentioned, they fell out of the sky, so them having like a little helium balloon wasn't exactly gonna do much. I think the grounders kind of know where they are. If they want to go find them, they know where to go. But I love the episode. The emotional stuff was really good. The stuff with Jaha was really good. I'm excited to see where that goes. The stuff with Clark, very unexpected fight scene, which was really great. And then a kind of sad ending when Anya becomes a character I want to see more of, and then she ends up getting killed. But I'm excited for next week's episode. Clark's going to meet her mother. Finn and Murphy are going to shoot up some sort of camp somewhere. The one guy seems to get captured. They had like a super small clip, but I'm pretty sure that was Lincoln in Mountain Glen. So they're going to be talking about the Cerberus program. So I'm really excited for that and what it could possibly mean for them. Maybe it's them trying to find some way to, be resistant to the radiation if they open the doors by using their blood or something. Or it's just some weird form of mind control. Who knows? They do some weird stuff. But I'm really excited for that. I think that's what I'm most excited for because once they mentioned they had somewhere programmed for the grounders, it's like, well, what the heck is it? So that's what I'm excited for. But comment below, let me know what you guys thought about this episode, your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And there were a lot of different elements, so what are you guys most excited for? Or I guess what kind of disappointed you the most in this one? Like, were you upset that Anya died? Were you excited that she died? Did it not really matter to you? And of course, are you guys excited for what's happening with Jaha and, including the stuff in the preview? Like, what are you guys really excited for in these upcoming episodes based on some of the stuff we got in this one? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.